Since when were eggs $7? And then to buy milk is like what, $8 now? Shit is expensive out here.
You can tell me. Because I just walked out with 4 bags and thought that I might have to sell a kidney on the black market. These grocery prices are high as draft food out here, and
everything increased every year. Now, if you understand that, or if you can relate to that, you'll understand that whether you complain or not, it is going to increase.
And I did it every day. I stopped going out to dinner. I stopped going out dancing. I stopped getting my nails done, stopped getting my hair done. And every 2 weeks when Ella Unified paid me, I wrote a check to my dream. And I wrote in the memo line, funding my dream.
And as usual, guys, this one is going to be a good one. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Guys, my name is Andre, and as usual, if you're stopping by for the first time, please consider subscribing. And while you're at it, just go ahead and smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. Also, remember to hit that post notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. Well, guys, as usual, I'll be reviewing these videos. I'll be giving you my opinion on what I think they should have done, or what I would have done had I been in their situation.
I just watched a lady walk out of the grocery store with a buggy slap full of groceries. And I'm having to fight the urge to run over and say, what do you do for a living? Do you have an OnlyFans page? Are you a drug dealer? You can tell me. Because I just walked out with 4 bags and thought that I might have to sell a kidney on the black market. These grocery prices are high as draft food out here, and you got a buggy full. You can tell me. I won't tell anybody. What do you do?
But like in 2024, everybody and their mama is going to be filing for bankruptcy because the way everything is expensive. Yo, I just went to a supermarket to go buy some eggs. Eggs is $7 now. Since when were eggs $7? And then to buy milk is like what, $8 now? Shit is expensive out here. Bro, in 2024, I know everybody's going to be filing for bankruptcy, food stamps, and all of that because it's just too much. Everything is too expensive nowadays. It's crazy. Like, you look to the left, something costs more. You look to the right, something has increased. Like, it's wild. Even like rent prices, like rent is not even $700 anymore, $600 anymore. Nah, it's 2,000, 3,000. I'm from New York, so if your price is different, then that's you. But in New York City, the rent is expensive now too. Like, everything's expensive. You breathe too hard, you might have to pay for something. Like, it's insane to me. Yo, wrap this shit up. Wrap it up.
You know, every time I hear someone complain about the cost of goods and services, I always ask myself, how are we expected to grow? How are we expected to fuel the economy? Guys, it's called inflation. Every year we are expecting our goods and services to increase by at least 2.5%. Standard. We are expecting this, guys. So just like how you'd want your house to increase in value, it's the same way your property tax will increase, it's the same way the cost of food will increase, and it's the same way your insurance will increase, and it's the same way the cost of a tire or the cost to service a car. Everything increased every year. Now, if you understand that, or if you can relate to that, you'll understand that whether you complain or not, it is going to increase. Now, based on my knowledge of this economy, or any economy, for example, it is important that we have inflation in order to fuel the economy. We get that. We know that. Guys, this is no secret. No, the only time we have a problem with the cost of goods or services is when we are not increasing our value, is when we are unable to increase our output, when we are unable to increase our income. That's when we start having a problem, guys. And I think that's where we need to put a lot more of our energy instead of complaining. Because again, complaining will never work. Now, how about if we flip the coin? You know what you'd see? You would see that the S&P 500 has risen over 25%. That's a great gain. Now, if you had maxed your 401k, you would have had a great return for this year. Great return. You know what, guys? I want to turn this whole thing around, guys. Let's take a look at it from the other side of the coin. Let's take a look at some people who came back from nothing. Let's take a look.
So we've all seen the 24-year-old influencer who just bought a house in the Hamptons and then later that day also went and bought a Range Rover, right? Well, this is my influencer success story. I don't even like calling myself an influencer. I prefer content creator, but either way, I have been monetizing on TikTok for just about a year now. The first time I ever made a dime on TikTok was in June 2023. I made $818 that month, and I was over the moon, so excited. And every month since then, I have averaged between $10,000 and $15,000 every single month. And I didn't buy a house in the Hamptons or a Range Rover, but I have been wanting to put an addition onto our house for years now, and we just have never been able to. Until now. This is our existing house, and then we just added on this addition. Also did all new roof and siding, which you can see here. And we are basically almost like gutting our house and redoing our entire living space. And this was after I paid off all of our debt in 2023. And I share this with you as inspiration and motivation because I am just a normal mom. I live a very normal life in New Hampshire. I have a normal full-time job. And I just took a chance on TikTok last year, and it has paid off tremendously.
Been 27 years in prison, been out 8 years. A lot of people ask me, was you scared when you first got out after 27 years? Let me walk you through it. First of all, I want to say, this was my sight for 27 years. All I saw was this, woods and gates and fences and fields. So when I was able to get out and see something more than just woods, forest, field, and gates, I was appreciative. My first year out of prison was at this hotel right here, y'all. You can't be afraid of small beginnings. The Bible tells you, don't despise small beginnings. First step of security for me, I had a roof over my head because my best friend mom, she paid that hotel up for 1 year so that I didn't have to worry about where I'm going to sleep, where I'm going to lay my head. So that was the first accomplishment for me, to have a roof over my head. And it was right there at that extended stay, that hotel right there. Right away, I started looking for job opportunities. Right down the road from me was a Dollar Tree. I walked down there and I applied for a job. I looked for opportunities, not excuses. I didn't have a car, I didn't have a bike, I didn't have anything. I walked the nearest place of employment that I could find and I applied. I put in applications and that was my very first job. I worked that job for 2 weeks until I became the manager. Within 2 weeks, I became a manager. I was a cashier making $8.15. In 2 weeks, I became the manager by the grace of God at that store right there, right down the street from the hotel. But one of the things that really helped me was that I kept my mind occupied. Idle minds is the devil's workshop. I didn't get an enemy any time or any space to rent any room in my mind. I stayed working. Well, the first thing I did when I got paid was flip my money. I ain't talking about what you talking about. I invested. I didn't spend my money on shoes. I didn't spend my money on clothes. I invested in something that would help me make more money. I came to Walmart and I bought me a bike. This was actually the first bicycle that I bought. That one right there. I can't believe they're still selling these things. So I bought me a bike, which allowed me to go a little bit farther out. see what other opportunities I had available to me. Another thing I did was got rooted in a church as soon as possible. So when I bought my bicycle, I rode my bike, and I found me a church. Now this church right now today is closed down, but this is the church that I first came to. And this is the church where I was ordained an evangelist. You gotta find a church so that you can stay rooted. Because if you're not rooted, possibility of you falling and going back into that world, it's a big possibility you're not gonna make it. So you wanna get rooted in a good church. Now when you look back over everything that I just showed you, you'll see that it was all small beginnings. Little white church, a hotel, Walmart, a little Dollar Tree. I mean, none of that was extravagant. But the thing is, I was grateful. I was grateful for every milestone. I was grateful for every opportunity. I was just grateful just to be free. Coming out of prison, no matter how much time you've done, come out being grateful for the small things. Because in life, it's those small things that matters. You have to show how grateful you are in the low place before you can actually graduate to higher places.
Average people, average work, did it in the same economy as you and I, did it in the same weather, the same government, guys. Average. How are you going to explain someone in retail making it? Explain that. How are you going to explain an average mother, an average person making it? Same economy, the same price on goods and services. Explain that, guys. How? And they have no more education than you and I. They have no more power than you and I. They have no more money than you and I. No more degree than you and I. But they did it. Retail. She did it from retail. TikTok. She did it from TikTok. Willing to spend the time necessary to work on her TikTok. She was able to extend her house. Not from a six-figure income, guys. Not from a six-figure income. And they did it in the same time that everyone is complaining about the cost of goods and services. Explain that. Now, hold on, guys. Let us stop for a quick second. Now, if you've made it this far in this video, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Now, guys, thank you for your like and thank you for your subscription. Let's get back to the video. Now again, guys, at the end of each and every one of my videos, I try to put together something special for you. I want to add value to you or something that you could just simply take away from.
And so I didn't have a background where studying was natural for me. But when I realized that if I go study something and I learn it, I own it, it's mine now, man, it was crazy because all through school I struggled. The last time I took an English class, my English teacher told me I was the weakest writer she ever met in her entire life.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely. And the same year I took a speech class, and my speech teacher, he said, quote unquote, Ms. Nichols, I recommend you never speak in public, that you get a desk job.
Oh,
And so
that's mean.
yeah, it's just, it was demotivated people, sad people, hurt. Sad people make other people sad. Bottom line, don't take it personal, hurt people hurt. And so a part of that was I had to see who I was hanging around. And, miserable people want company, and I had to literally be willing to not only relocate my mind, but relocate my body so I can relocate my finances and relocate my possibility, relocate my son's future. I was very clear the future my son was going to have if I didn't do something. And I was not subscribing to that, not on my watch. My son's father went to prison when he was 8 months old, and he's been in prison since my son was 8 months old.
Whoa.
My son turns 22 this year. My son is an African-American male child living in South Central Los Angeles when, at that time, he had a 66% chance rate of going to prison. Not on my watch. And I didn't want to be rich. I never really aspired to be rich, and I never aspired to be famous. I aspired to have peace of mind, to have grace and ease in my life, to be able to provide for myself. So I already had this experience that I wanted. And so when fast forward to answer your question, and Inglewood, living off Arborvitae. I'm on government assistance, and I run out of money, and I had to buy Pampers for Jelani. And I had $11.42 in the bank. And I remember wrapping my son in a towel for 2 days. Someone said, because when I tell the story, I always get teary-eyed. And someone said, do you fabricate the tears because you've told the story so much? No, I'm a mama. Every time I tell the story, I feel it again. I remember the second day, like you said, I had my hand on Jelani's stomach, and I said, don't worry, baby. Mommy will never be this broke or broken again. And that day, what shifted for me was I was willing, and I don't know if this is going to sound crazy, I was willing to completely die to any form of me that I had been so that I can birth the woman that I was becoming. The reason why a lot of people won't become who they want is because they're too attached to who they've been. And you hear it all the time when people say, I've always been this way. Okay, well, if that's working for you, keep doing that. I knew it wasn't working for me any longer. I had hit my version of rock bottom. So I was willing to let go of everything and everybody. See, another reason why people won't get there is because the doorway is for you to fit through. You trying to carry everybody else through because you're trying to be Rescue 911. And you got to rescue you first. I am much more valuable to my family and to my community because I was willing to let them go through the door myself, teach myself, learn myself, condition myself, and then come back and get them. I'm much more valuable to them now. But I had to go through a window time of 10 years of judgment. You leaving us, hanging out with white people all the time. You going to these crazy countries. And then I was willing to invest money in me.
I love this story.
I was willing to invest money in me.
Literally.
I worked at LA Unified School District. And I knew I couldn't stay there because they needed a degree. I didn't have a degree. They didn't seem happy. I wanted to be happy. So I would have my son at daycare during the day. I'd work 9 hours. I'd pick him up from daycare, take him back to my office. I'd take a 30-minute break from 6 o'clock to 6:30 to go get him. I start working from 6:30 until midnight every day at my office on me every day. Put my son on a little, primary color blanket, something to occupy him. Give him toys that I took the batteries out of so he'd be confused for a little while trying to figure out why they're not working. I'm serious. And I did it every day. I stopped going out to dinner. I stopped going out dancing. I stopped getting my nails done, stopped getting my hair done. And every 2 weeks when LA Unified paid me, I wrote a check to my dream. And I wrote in the memo line, funding my dream. And I would mail the check to the bank, Wells Fargo. And I mailed a check to myself every 2 weeks for 3.5 years. My family thought, that I was smoking on drugs. Like, she ain't going out. She eating beanies and weenies all week. We think she on drugs, but she's not getting any smaller, so maybe not. And I went to the bank after 3.5 years. This is the story you're talking about. I walked in the bank. I said, I'm just going to check and see where that account is, because I wouldn't open the statements, because my mother used to say when I was growing up, girl, this money burning my pocket. And I'm like, I think money hot, and it goes. Thank you so much, and it goes away fast. So I'm not going to open the statement because I don't want to know how much money I have, because I didn't have a healthy relationship to money. I didn't even know a relationship with money. So while I'm at these trainings, they just kept saying save. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to save. I didn't need the money that I was writing checks for, because it was the money I used on my nails and my hair. And then every check I wrote to myself, I made a challenge with myself that it had to be 5% more than the next check. Wow. Than the previous check. So I didn't really know how to calculate the 5%. So I'm like, well, I'll just add $30. I'll just add $60. I really didn't know anything about it. Then I went out and got a second job. And I started working in the evenings, less on my business and more out on jobs so I could write a bigger check. So I learned how to live on $31,000. That's all I was living on, $31,000. We can make it. We got it. I sold my Altima. I had at the time, I bought an old Ford Explorer. You know, I just skinny down. I moved out of my 3-bedroom house. I moved in with a roommate. She smoked even. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put towels under the base of the door. Y'all, you got to be inconvenienced. I put towels on the base of the door so the smoke wouldn't come in the room with me and my son. We slept side by side in the same bed. Went from a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, 2-story, to a roommate, because I was willing to write a check to fund my dream. And I kept writing, funding my dream, funding my dream, funding my dream. And I walked into Wells Fargo 3.5 years later, and I gave her my name. I said, hi, my name is Lisa Nichols. And she's like, you done funded my dream, lady. I was like, yeah. So all these tellers came running around. The manager came around because I guess everybody had processed a check or two. Right. And they're like, we all been wondering. Like, everybody wants to know, what's the dream you funded? And I was like, I don't know. It's going to cost some money. I think I got a little money there to fund the dream. And so I said, I just came to get my balance and to see where it is because I haven't opened any of the statements. They were like, what? I said, no, I haven't opened any of the statements because money burns my mama's pocket, so it might burn my pocket. So I don't want to spend it. So she wrote the balance down. You know how they write the balance down, and she turned it and passed it to me. And I looked at it and I said, no, ma'am, my name is Lisa Shante Nichols. This is my social security number. I don't even want that money because y'all don't want it back and I don't want to get in trouble. So can you just give me my account? Because I didn't know anyone in my family that had $5,000 in their account, $10,000 in the account. So when you write down that I have $62,500 in my account, that's not mine. And so they all teared up, like everybody started crying. They're like, no, it's yours. I looked down at my son, Jelani, who was 5 years old now, and I said, Jelani, I think life is going to change for you and mommy. My son said, Mommy, can we finally go to McDonald's? Because I've been making them homemade Big Macs for a while. Like, Mama can make you a better Big Mac than, Ronald McDonald. So, because I was willing to inconvenience my entire life. My entire life. I was willing to disrupt my entire life to buy my future, to buy my possibility, to give my dream a chance.
I'm taking a look at this video and I'm seeing 3 things that stand out. And that's discipline, hard work, and sacrifice. That's what it is. Now, when you talk about discipline, guys, you were talking about being able or being willing to get up every single morning and work at something, whether you're feeling good about it or you're not feeling good about it. But you still get up and you still do it. And that is discipline, guys. Never giving up. You get up regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's happening in your world, regardless of what's happening at work, what's happening at home. You're getting up and you're doing it. And that's what means discipline. And she has demonstrated that. Never giving up on what she's believing in. And when it comes to hard work, a lot of people lack this. And this is where just a person who is willing to work harder will definitely pass a person with skills. Because hard work will beat skills any day. Now, when you look at sacrifice, this is what a lot of people are not able to do. They're not willing to give up immediate or instant gratification for a better future. You're going to pay the price. Just when each and every one of us is going to pay that price. Some paid earlier and they'll able to live a better life in the back end or at a later date. Or you could live a mediocrity life and you pay the price when you're older. Now, I don't know if you've seen people worked well into their 70s. And I'm not talking about a 70-year-old who is working because he or she wants to work. I'm talking about a 70 or a 75-year-old working because they have to work. They have to pay bills. No, that's a price you don't want to pay. But people are still going to pay that price. People are going to be lining up willing to pay that 70, 80-year-old working price. They're going to do it. Once again, guys, we've come to the end of another great video. Now, if you found value in this one, please go ahead, subscribe, like, or share. Or better yet, if you know someone that might find value in this one, please go ahead and share. Now, as usual, you won't get all your information from this one video. So please go ahead and click on this one right here. And now you will have access to the financial market, the financial news, making your first investment, and definitely my journey towards financial freedom. As usual, guys, be safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.